Weber, and this is my Alpa jump seat app. Alpa is the Airline Pilots Association. It's the largest airline pilot union in the world. It represents and advocates for pilots at 33 airlines and has over 63,000 members. Started with research, which is understanding the problem. Asked, what is the current jump seat process? What tools do Alpa pilots currently have? What's important to the stakeholders? Interviewed pilots and stakeholders and observed pilots reserving jump seats. Jump seating is when a pilot flies on an airline for free. Depending on the security clearance, the jump seat can be a fold-down seat in the cockpit or a regular seat in the airline's main cabin. To book a seat, the user has to go on the jump seating website, then look up the jump seat information for that airline in the Alpa book, and then finally, if they're going to bring anything on the plane, download the PDF with prohibited items. This is the jump seating website. It was last updated in 2003. The good news is it still works. The bad news is that it does not work well. It's not responsive, and along with being almost impossible to use on a phone, it's really not even that good on a computer screen. And for some odd reason, there's a child's car seat in the middle of the screen. The Alpa book is used after the website search, and the pilot searches for the jump seat policies for that specific airline. Here they'll find the instructions of how to list on the jump seat, what to wear, when to arrive, and other important information. Next is the PDF. It's 8.5 by 11. It's designed for print. It does not work well on a phone. It's just tiny and hard to read. Zooming means moving all over the screen in all directions, requires downloading of a PDF, and it's in a different location than the Jump Seat Finder website. The idea is to consolidate everything into one app: the website, the jump seating book, and the PDFs. Interviews revealed that pilots don't want to use their iPads to book flights, stating privacy issues. Majority of pilots are on iOS because most pilot apps don't support Android yet. Designing the app has challenges: sharing large amounts of information on a tiny screen, consolidating from 3 platforms, and updating everything. Focus was on information architecture and wireframes. The information architecture, I came up with 5 main sections of the app. There's the login, the jump seat finder, jump seat denial report, the prohibited items, and the jump seat policy list. Then I created wireframes, which is a low fidelity layout of the app. It shows all the major elements and interactions, explains how screens connect. It's based on activities depicted in user scenarios. Started with the login screens, and it shows how they go from logging in to resetting a password to making it all the way into the home screen. Next is a more complicated jump seat search, which I'll break down. There are 3 types of searches. The original version had all 3 on the same page. Now users can switch the search type by clicking on a button. Only one search is shown at a time. The order of the search buttons is based on user research, most used to least used. Originating flights and arriving flight searches are rarely used, but when they're used, it's usually in a high-stress situation, so it was important to keep those searches. Some interface improvements include added a current location feature to reduce typing. Added suggestive search for airport codes because they can occasionally forget an airport code. Also added a local time feature to the Zulu time preference because using Zulu time requires them to do math, whereas local time is always available on their phone so they know what time it is. Also added a pop-up calendar to make adding dates easier, and added sliders for easier adjustments. The search results in the original version were hard to read on a phone. Now the information has been retained, but it's presented in a way that's easier for a phone user to read and comprehend. The results are linked to the jump seat information that was in the book before for the airline associated with that flight. The jump seat policy information has been moved from the book to the app, and 2 call to action buttons are available for the user, streamlining the process of listening for a jump seat. The prohibited items list interface improvements are formatting it for a mobile screen. Accordions allow users to control how much detail they want to see. Adds a search to save time. Footnotes with special instructions are now a pop-up, and check marks and X's make it easy to scan the list at a glance for prohibited items. Next is the old form for the jump seat denial, which required entering information that the system already had. It used confusing phrasing and had very long drop lists, such as the every single airline. Now the improvements are that the user doesn't have to enter information that's already associated with their account because it's already filled in, better selection options, and optional fields are marked. The jump seat policies are now moved to the app. A search feature has been added to allow a user to search quickly for a specific airline. Users can filter the results by CAS and Alpa or both. and letters can be clicked quickly to go to a list of airlines that start with that letter. Next, we had the mockups. This just basically tells us what the app will look like. Mockups are designed to give stakeholders in the development team an idea of what it'll end up being. I presented 3 designs and asked for feedback. Alpa's branding guidelines were integrated in. This is an example of login screens, including the home screen, the jump seat finder, prohibited items, jump seat policies, and finally the jump seat denial form. The next steps would be to develop a prototype and conduct usability testing. That's it. Thank you.